Hello everyone, and welcome to the 17 Days of St. Patrick, a celebration of Irish Heritage Month presented by the Gael Scoil. The Gael Scoil is a 2-day program aimed at teaching children about Ireland. Normally it's done in person, but times being what they are, we're not able to do that right now. Instead, we will share 17 videos, maybe a couple more, over the St. Patrick's Day season. Check the description for more info. Also, please help us by liking this video, share it, and subscribing so that you see all of future videos. The Gael Scoil is a non-profit and run by volunteers. Please keep that in mind. We aren't professionals, just a group that is passionate about teaching children about Ireland. So let's get to it. Today's video is one that we call Ireland 101. It's just the basics about Ireland. The first settlers came to Ireland in 8000 BC, so there is a lot to cover, and I won't be able to get to it all in this video. This is just a quick introduction, and hopefully you will get more interested and do some research yourself. A lot of what I talk about will go more in depth in future videos, so again, please subscribe so that you see them. So let's start here with the most basic of information. Where in the world is Ireland? So first of all, this video right now is being recorded right around in here, just north of Philadelphia and a bit south of New York. So if I went down to the Jersey Shore here and decided to jump in the water and start swimming, my arms would get mighty tired, but I'd swim east, and then a bit north, going past Greenland and Iceland. We make it right over here a bit, and eventually, Greenland, Iceland, and eventually we would come to Ireland. So Ireland is the most western part of Europe. So here's the rest of Europe. And the capital of Ireland is Dublin. And we will get to the next slide. So Ireland here has 32 counties. 6 counties here in the north are part of the United Kingdom. And the rest, the other 26, are considered the Republic of Ireland. We're going to say it just as Ireland, but it is considered the Republic of Ireland. And it is split into 4 provinces, as you see in these color changes here. So we have Ulster, Connacht, Leinster, and Munster. So there's a good question as to how big is Ireland. And if you were in the United States, we'll talk about it in terms of Indiana. So the size of Ireland here is about the size of Indiana. There's relatively about 5.5 million people in Ireland, and there are 6 million people in Indiana. Last check. So the flags. You see 2 different flags here, but this is the one that you're probably most used to. But this flag here was used in the 18th century by nationalists. Those are the ones that opposed their English rule. There was also later a green version of this flag, which is still the flag of Leinster. Now here you have the tricolor, which is what is the current flag of Ireland. The green here represents the Catholics, the orange, the Protestants, and then the white in the between represents a desired peace between the two. It was adopted in the 19th century and raised during the 1917 Rising, and it was officially adopted as the Republic's flag in 1937. So here we're going to go into a couple of things what are some national things about Ireland. So first of all, what you see here is the national anthem, Rana Bean. That is the Irish name for it. It's called A Soldier's Song in English. It is a beautiful song, and I do recommend you jumping on YouTube and looking it up. The national bird is the northern lapwing, which actually I didn't know till I started doing this video. And the national dog is the Irish wolfhound. Here's a couple pictures from a past Gael Scoil where we actually had a wolfhound come in, and it was a big hit with the kids. So the national mammal is the Irish hare, which is basically a large rabbit. And the national fish, and I didn't realize that countries had national fish, is the northern pike. The national flower is the shamrock. which is not surprising at all. Or it's actually the national plant. There are three national instruments. The harp, seen here, and is also part of our Gael Scoil logo. The war pipes, which are like bagpipes that they would play as they go into war. And then the uilleann pipes, which are, again, an instrument like bagpipes. They're played on the lap. Again, I would go onto YouTube and look up any three of these, and you'll find lots of videos on them and how they sound. The national dish is Irish stew, which is basically beef or some other type of meat, slowly roasted with potatoes and other root vegetables. And that makes me hungry right now. Sport. So when you think of Ireland, you might think about, or Europe in general, soccer especially. But the national sports in Ireland, there's a few. So up here we have Gaelic football, which is extremely, extremely old sport. Then down here is hurling. Here is camogie, and camogie is basically hurling, but played by women. Here you have rounders and handball. And those are the actually national sports of Ireland. These three here, camogie, hurling, and football, those are ones that, if you're familiar with Ireland at all, you probably know. These two here, you may not. Again, do some research, and you'll find out that they are very cool. National saints. So obviously, everybody knows St. Patrick. But as well as St. Patrick is St. Bridget and St. Columba. St. Bridget, at our Gael School, we will do St. Bridget's crosses, which is a really fun activity, and there will be a video on that later in our series. So a couple of other things to go along with what we're learning here. The national color is green, but it wasn't always. At one point it was blue, but the green isn't very surprising, as it is known as the emerald. The money is the euro. So Ireland is part of the European Union. So like most of Europe, they use the euro. The language is Irish, or Gaelic. And it is the official language and spoken in about 2% of the country all the time. However, English is the predominant language spoken. And you will see as you go through the country that signs will have both English and Irish there. And here we have a few famous Irish people. So we have Oscar Wilde, who, for most of the kids probably don't know, he's a famous author and poet. And then we have Saoirse Ronan, who's been in a lot of movies. Michael Flatley, who took Irish dance to a whole new level and made it extremely popular with his River Dance and Lord of the Dance and Feet of Flames. Bono and the rest of U2. Conor McGregor, the notorious MMA fighter, and Niall Horan. So as I'm doing this, I find that there's so much history behind Ireland that I could go on and on and on. So for our Ireland 101, we're going to stop here. Again, please like and share the videos and stop back for, in the future, we're going to do a whole series on history, and there's some sports and dance, and we go much more in depth with a whole bunch of these topics that I just touched on this morning. So stay safe, and thanks for watching.